What's going on, everybody? Today, we're going to talk about the most recent addition to the MCU, Moon Knight. In the ever-growing collection of Marvel movies and shows, Moon Knight kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, even with all the hype surrounding it. See, there has always been a theme going on with these live-action Marvel tie-ins, and it all has to do with the rules of doom. Where's my Star Wars fans? In WandaVision, we're about second lives, and Loki, we're about second chances, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier is about partnership and working as a pair, and some other woke agendas, but we're not going to talk about that. In Hawkeye, it's all about the heir, the person who takes up the mantle after you're gone. With Moon Knight, it's about Egyptian gods.
That sounds like absolute nonsense. I don't even believe in Egyptian gods. It's just the stuff of fairy tales.
Well, yes. Moon Knight is about that Egyptian gods, but it's actually more about...
Who is this Stephen Grant? Stephen Grant. He sounds like a third-rate superhero in a fourth-rate show.
Wow. Dude, can you let me finish?
Go ahead. Speak your pathetic words, Lee.
My sentences have no pathetic words, Kaiba, but they... You know what, dude? I'm not going to do this. Not with... Blue Eyes. I'm a Blue Eyes fan. Ah, dang it. I'm not even rocking with the right team. I'm actually a Kaiba fan. But anyways, I'm not going to do this with you, Kaiba. Let's focus.
Possible spoilers coming. You've been warned.
Okay. So, Moon Knight is the newest live-action offering from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, following gift shop employee Stephen Grant, who comes off as being in his own little world 24/7. Seriously, shout out to the actor Oscar Isaac. Stephen Grant at the start of the series comes off as the world's most awkward human being, on top of suffering bouts of insomnia, memory loss, sleepwalking, you name it. Like, the sheer amount of confusion on this man's face from getting a date he can't even remember. Stephen. He's such a lonely person. He carries on his own full-blown conversations with a statue. A statue! Can I be honest with you guys? I don't even see how this is a potential issue. I carry on conversations with figures. Anyways, this man doesn't need superpowers. He needs a friend. One moment he's playing with a Rubik's Cube, reading on Egyptian gods, and the next moment he wakes up in the field in the middle of nowhere. What's the first thing he does when he sees an armed gunman? He waves at them. Guys, like, I cannot even make this up.
His other personality, Marc Spector, is far superior in every way. A former mercenary, Spector is the avatar of the Egyptian god Khonshu, and dispenses justice in Khonshu's name as his Moon Knight. He's vicious, efficient, unflappable, everything that Stephen Grant isn't.
Without even getting into everything else, the acting performance of Oscar Isaac has to be talked about here, guys. Not since Elizabeth Olsen in WandaVision has the lead of any one of these shows been firing off on all cylinders. I'm talking V8, baby. Now listen, no disrespect to the other leads in their respective shows. Tom Hiddleston could play Loki in his sleep, and everybody knows that already. Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan did great work in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's surprisingly good on a rewatch, actually, just in case you weren't a fan the first time.
Jeremy Renner was certainly an actor that appeared in a show called Hawkeye.
I don't know. The more I thought about it, I was like, God dang, that's harsh. It's a good show. I appreciate what Jeremy Renner did in Hawkeye.
Okay, Lee. You gotta say whatever you gotta say in front of the camera. Okay. Look. Any corporate exec worth their salt will tell you that the powers that be didn't have as much faith in Hawkeye sticking the landing like the other shows. That's why there was that slip about the Kingpin from Daredevil showing up. Ha! Slip! There's no such thing as slips when finances are concerned. You think I would be slipping anything if I were to say to all of you, remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel? No. I wouldn't be much of a CEO of a major company if I didn't. As a matter of fact, Rock, I think your next employee review is you.
Dude, I don't know what happened, but I hired you, remember? Anyways, that's not important right now. Oscar Isaac is here doing the work as both Marc Spector and Stephen Grant, and every little bit of nuance to separate the two is perfect. Guys, it's insane. After the second episode, you almost completely forget that they're being played by the same actor. The way Stephen's hair looks, the way he slouches, the bumbling voice, the droop in his shoulders, even the way he walks comes into sharp contrast to Marc Spector, who exudes machoism, right? I think that's a word. My scripter wrote machismo, and I don't know if that's a word I can pronounce. So, machoism. Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. Anyways, it's like if someone ripped a 2000s action hero straight out of a movie and put him in the same body as a bumbling professor who hadn't had a date since senior prom. That's too funny when I consider who wrote the script for me.
Lee, come on, man, don't attack us like this.
It set up a really wild conflict because Marc and Stephen can't both control the body at the same time. But Marc desperately wants to get his final mission for Khonshu finished and save the day from Arthur Harrow, played by no other than Ethan Hawke. Stephen has absolutely no memory of the time Marc spent in his body. This includes his fighting skills, being married to, well, Marc's wife, Layla, who has to wrap her head around the fact that the man she's married to has an identity disorder. At first, she doesn't even believe her husband could be two people.
Speaking of, have you told your wife about us?
Anyway, yeah. Layla knows her husband is Khonshu's avenger and a complete superhero, but she can't believe he's got split personalities. In a world of gods, from all pantheons, frozen super soldiers, aliens, and dimension-breaking magic, this is what she can't wrap her head around. Not surprised. I want to say something. Like, ladies, this is kind of a thing that happens, but let me not vent too much. My wife is in the other room.
Crazy.
May and Hawk are both just going in on these parts, by the way. Like the whole cast. The whole cast is firing off on all cylinders here. Harrow makes for a perfectly chilling villain. Just the way he walks with his canes and his icy demeanor. Can we not forget the fact that I think there's always glass in his shoes? But anyways, every word out of his mouth is like, my God. He has this simultaneous tone of condensation and pity that he just knows better than everyone around him. That he's a shepherd and he has to lead his flock. And it's a shame there's no one else to do the job. But he'll do it for the good of the world and balance. Where have we heard this before? Thanos? Thanos? Are you somewhere? Anyways, the smack. He just casually talks to Khonshu even when he can no longer hear Khonshu is just perfect. Disrespecting his old boss for no reason at all, just to rub salt in the wounds. He's just rubbing it in there.
Well, there's plenty of reason. Khonshu is a terrible boss. Could never be me. I like Arthur. He comes off as so casual about everything. He just wants to give you soup, help you better yourself, and calmly refers to genocide as medicine.
Yeah, anyways, May, Layla, brings a lot of energy to her part, coming off just as capable as Marc Spector seems to be. I say seems because even action heroes would be having problems when his other personality doesn't want to have anything to do with fighting, and when he does, it's kind of hard to watch sometimes.
Let's all just like chill the F out and talk for a second. Take the body. Take the body, Mark.
I mean, I like it from an entertainment perspective. Like, God dang, will you just finish your opponent, Steven? Just finish him. By the end of the episodes, Layla is the perfect bridge between Marc and Steven. Having Steven Grant's expertise, but as physically capable as Marc Spector, it does kind of play as this weird love triangle, though. I can't be sure if it counts as a love triangle or not, because isn't it the same person in the end?
I actually think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Me, myself, and Irene.
Okay, solid. Guys, let's talk about the entertainment value. One of the biggest things that separates Moon Knight from all the other Marvel series is that you don't have to have watched like any of the previous shows or previous movies. Moon Knight is almost entirely a standalone series of its own. Outside of maybe one tiny reference to Black Panther, there is almost nothing to connect the series. If you were hoping for some big connections, you will be disappointed. But this does feel like a perfect entry point for people to get a grasp of who Moon Knight is as a character. It actually comes off more like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist!
We don't speak about that last show, Lee. You keep that show out your mouth.
Okay. I could go on about that show, but let's stick on to Moon Knight. Anyways, it wasn't that bad, folks. It wasn't that bad. Anyways, as I was saying, Moon Knight feels much more concentrated than what has been coming out in terms of limited series, such as WandaVision, Hawkeye, Loki, as well as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which all have deep-rooted connections to the Marvel canon. And you know what? At times, it felt like they were showing off, like, hey guys, what could we force in here next? What completely random throwaway reference to a comic book that was sold in the 1970s that hasn't been read in decades could we put in the scene as a throwaway gag? Honestly, I have to say, I was okay with that. Maybe because as a whole, the MCU has the Godfather problem.
What didn't you like about it?
It insists upon itself, Lois.
What?
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
It takes forever getting in. You spend like 6.5 hours, and then I can't even get through. I can't even finish a movie.
In an episode of Family Guy, Peter Griffin explains that the reason he couldn't ever enjoy The Godfather is because it insists upon itself. There's a lot of amazing aspects of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but there is the occasion that you can't fully enjoy the shows unless you do your best to keep up with a specific order of movies, and that requires you have to rewatch movies from previous phase, which requires you basically have to have firm attention to details at all times. Else, you might struggle to catch every little reference or feel like you miss out on something. Moon Knight has none of that, so it feels that it's a perfect series for people who haven't been keeping up as much with this phase of the MCU, or just want to get an introduction to one of Marvel's lesser known superheroes. All in all, I think Moon Knight is worth a watch, and although it may or may not end up getting a season 2, I do hope it gets one.
All right. Enough with the rambling. This guy can talk for hours.
Just, if you appreciate our video, I ask that you drop a subscription, drop a like, drop a comment, let us know what the next video you want to see us do. And we are active on social media, so go ahead, follow us in the description below. Active on Twitter. I am about that life. I look forward to connecting with y'all. Much love. Peace.